Hello and welcome to Pick Yourself, the podcast that helps you build and grow your electronic music career. You will learn the strategies, mindset, tactics, and tools that you can implement today to break through tomorrow. My name is Philip. Now let's get right into today's episode. Hello again, welcome back to another episode of the Pick Yourself podcast. As always, I'm super happy to have you here with me again. It's Tuesday, and for those who don't know, this show comes out every Tuesday, and it's available on all the usual platforms. So you can get it at Apple Podcasts, at Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all the usual tools. So subscribe to the show. I would be happy to have you here with me every week. And yeah, to be honest, things have been absolutely crazy on my end. As some of you might know, I'm a mixing and mastering engineer by trade, so that's my main profession. I do this full time. And the last weeks have been absolutely insane. I get so many projects right now because people seem to get out of the festival mode and back into the studio mode as the weather is getting worse and worse, at least on my end of the world. And I honestly don't think that it's gonna change in the next months. So until Christmas season starts, I will be absolutely slammed with work. But hey, I won't complain. I do what I love in a scene I love. And this is also why I'm doing the podcast. I wanna give you something here for free that is of value, that helps you build and grow your electronic music career. And I was thinking the last episode was quite interesting, the 1000 True Fans theory, but it left over one really important question. That is, how exactly do I now find these true fans, or how do I convert my regular fans into true fans? And this is where this episode will probably help you quite a lot. And the name of this episode is Why Finding Your Tribe as an Artist Will Boost Your Career. And in case you haven't listened to the last episode, which was how to build a fan base of 1000 true fans in 5 stages, I recommend you listen to that one first before listening to this episode. But it's not completely obligatory, so you will also be able to follow this one if you don't want to go back to the other one. But let's now jump right into the episode. And yeah, what does this tribe thing mean here? Why finding a tribe as an artist will boost your career? Well, the whole tribes concept, as I'm using it here, is based on a book by Seth Godin. And I'm going to use his ideas to help you identify, lead, and also grow your tribe as an electronic music artist. So why does it matter to find your tribe as an artist? And what does it have to do with Kevin Kelly's 1000 True Fans concept that we had in the last episode? Well, the 1000 True Fans concept is a great tool and a great goal to have. It doesn't answer the question of who these fans are and how they found you. And moreover, we don't really know why you matter to them and what turns them into true fans. And this is actually where Seth Godin's tribes concept bridges this gap between the 1000 True Fans idea and your really real struggle to build a fan base in real life. Okay, that was too much real or really in one sentence. But hey, I kept it in. I think it's funny that I also make mistakes on the podcast. Okay, but coming back to the problem here, the 1000 True Fans theory is nice, but it doesn't tell you how to get to these fans or how to turn your existing fan base into true fans. And I'm going to give you now a really brief overview of Seth Godin's tribes concept. So first of all, Seth Godin to me is one of the greatest thinkers of today. The name of this podcast, Pick Yourself, is a tribute to him. That explains how much his work and his ideas mean to me. And I personally can attribute some of the biggest successes that I had in life so far to some of his ideas and concepts. And therefore, I think it's great to share with you one of the strongest ones, which is the tribes concept. So according to Seth Godin, we are all members of various tribes in society, and you can be part of the fan tribe of your favorite football team or a supporter of a certain political campaign, and you can be a member of several tribes at the same time. So tribes are defined by 3 components. The first one is they are a group of people. Well, obviously. The second one is this group of people identifies with a common goal or idea. And the third one is It has a leader who represents and organizes the tribe around that idea or concept. And that brings us to the role of leadership here, which is extremely important. So leadership in a traditional sense would be, well, a very strict top-down perspective. But that is not at all true for this tribe's concept. It's not necessary at all to have this top-down perspective. It's more like a leader is a visionary who challenges the status quo constantly in society and inspires the tribe with new ideas. And then these ideas spread organically through traditional word of mouth, but also thanks to social media within the tribe and then also beyond the tribe. So what does that mean for you as an artist who wants to find his or her tribe? Well, think back a little bit. It used to be like this in the music industry, so before the digital revolution kicked in. In order to be successful, you had to get picked by some of the gatekeepers. So that could be a record label, that could also be an influential management company, it could be whatever it was that was in your way. And the traditional media, like TV and newspapers and magazines and so on, they were part of this gatekeeper system. And media campaigns decided who was to become a star and who wasn't. For you as an artist at that time, it meant that you had to have the right type of connections within these gatekeepers to actually be able to build a career out of that. And that has changed. So when the digital revolution was happening and social media was introduced, that was kind of a paradigm shift in the whole music industry. Today, you have the power to pick yourself, which is why I've chosen this name for the podcast. And you can create a movement, a tribe around your music and your ideas without the support of traditional media and, bypassing some of the gatekeepers in the music industry. So they will come to you if you have a big enough following, if you have created something that spread organically among an online audience and also a local real audience. And all you need is the courage to be different and challenge the status quo. This is at least the concept of Seth Godin. So you don't need a big marketing budget, let alone some gatekeeper's permission. It all starts with something unique or fresh about you and your music. And from there, all you need is patience, a great work ethic, and a very systematic approach to building your brand, which we've discussed in episode 11. And to me, the tribes concept has three main advantages. The first one is it helps differentiating yourself in a very crowded marketplace with millions of other music producers out there. The second one is it connects people around a certain topic or idea, in this case, your music and your artist personality. And that means it's not only a connection between you and the people, but also between themselves. So they interact with each other, and that strengthens the connection even more. And the third one is it deepens the connection between your audience and you as an artist. And why is that? That's because you have to think hard how to constantly challenge the status quo, how to lead this tribe, how to inspire them. And this helps you turn regular fans into true fans. And if you're lucky, you can get to the 1,000 true fans that we've discussed in the last episode. So now let's talk about how you can find your tribe, identify the right people, lead them, and then finally grow this tribe. Let's start with the first thing, which is identifying your tribe. So how do you find your tribe? Or better, how does the tribe find you? Well, this is a very difficult question because there is no fixed formula that you can follow. It simply happens when you start to put out something meaningful and different. So different that people notice the difference at first glance. So it all starts with your offer. Something about your music and your artist personality has to be unique or at least fresh enough to be seen as special by your audience. And if you want to dig deeper about how to achieve this, you can go back to episode 7 on how to stand out as an upcoming artist. The important thing here is that people have to perceive this special aspect of you with as many senses as possible. So packaging matters here. Your artwork, your photos, your artist bio, the vinyl sleeve of your first album, everything should feel like a labor of love and dedication. This is super important. And a lot of the stuff might come later in your career, but I wanted to help you understand what I mean with packaging here. So with everything you do, there comes a certain add-on, something special that lets your audience understand what makes you different from all the other artists out there. So how can you get started? The best way to find your tribe is to put something out for free. And yeah, that's really what I mean. You put out something for free that is as valuable and as special as possible. Just keep in mind the go-giver mentality, which I've explained in episode 10, the networking episode. If you focus on giving first and add meaningful value to people's lives, great things will happen. And this is also true here with the tribes concept. So let me give you an example of finding your tribe. Let's say you put out an EP that reflects your unique take on a genre. It's based on a visual concept that tells a story and reflects your artist personality, and you publish a personal note with it that emphasizes what this work means to you. And you offer it to the world for free. What do you think will happen? Well, you have probably guessed right. Most likely it will drown in the noise of new releases. But that's not a problem. If you can build a tribe of only 10 new true fans with this free EP you've made, then that's already spectacular. This is the starting point of something bigger. From there on, you have to focus on leading and nurturing that tribe so it grows organically. That's the idea of Seth Godin's tribes concept. And with every new release, with every show you play, your tribe will grow. The word will spread automatically as long as you keep nurturing your tribe. And after this initial sign of interest, you have to analyze what type of people are drawn to you and your music and why. Are you attracting the cool kids or the misfits? The spiritual people or the rationalists? The loud activists or the silent passives? The techno heads or the house fans? You get the idea. And if you cannot convince 10 people, then I'm sorry my friend, but you're on the wrong track. Forget about it, create something new and try something different. So now let's come to the second aspect, which is leading your tribe. So finding your tribe is probably the hardest part, and leading is a little bit easier because it will feel natural to you. So one important ingredient is storytelling, of course. But there's more. So according to Seth Godin, leaders make a ruckus by challenging the status quo, and they continue to do so. Moreover, they provide connections for the ones who seek to be connected. So what does that mean? So a leader is always at the forefront of a tribe. And that does not mean that he or she's above the tribe. It just means at the forefront, visionary. And there doesn't need to be any hierarchy in the traditional sense, and it's more important that you keep challenging the status quo and feed your tribe with new ideas, with new input, with something that inspires them, something courageous. You can be at eye level with your audience and they will still look up to you in a way because you have the courage to try out something new. So let me give you a little example. At the moment, the speed of techno tracks is getting higher and higher. So we are way beyond 140 BPM in some cases, and this is a trend right now. But let's say you were the first artist a few years back who dared to produce techno tracks faster than 140 BPM, and then you even played the type of music after an ambient intro track in your set. This would have shocked most people on the dance floor. Some other artists would probably have laughed about you while silently admiring your courage. But a few people on the dance floor would get it. And they tell their friends about this special set, and suddenly there's like a little bit of a movement around you. And leading your tribe means also nurturing it. So you have to make sure you stay in touch with your audience, especially with your true fans. And this can happen through a newsletter, a vlog, or Instagram stories, whatever you use, whatever your tool is, what works for you. But it's also possible to do this without any direct interaction whatsoever. So if you're more the kind of mysterious artist who's not too public, then it can be enough to give an interview here or there to a bigger blog or magazine from time to time. As long as you don't give the standard set of boring answers, that's fine, because people are going to get it, what you're about. And your tribe will be impressed by your unique perspective on things, and the word will spread organically again. Okay, so now let's come to the third part of this, which is growing your tribe. So as I've mentioned before, most of your tribe's growth will happen completely organically. But that takes time, and you also need to stay very consistent in your output. The most important aspect here is not to disappoint them. Okay? So if you stop challenging the status quo, if you adapt to the expectation of the masses, your tribe will move on. because nobody wants to follow some Me Too artist. And as long as you stay visionary, as you stay forward-looking, as you try to change things and bring new ideas into your tribe, they will stick with you. But the big question here is, can you do something to actively grow your tribe? Well, of course you can. Think about founding your own label, for instance. So you start signing other artists that complement your own music in some sort, but at the same time are special themselves. You will automatically expand your tribe and connect it to their following. And that doesn't mean that you're stealing fans from each other, because one can be part of many tribes, so that's not a problem. It's not a null-sum game. Another way to grow your tribe as an artist is to offer haptic goods besides your music. So that can be a shirt collection, art prints, or even vinyl releases with amazing artwork, if your fan base is big enough for that. And your fans will be your natural ambassadors. If they identify with you and your concept, they will crave for ways to express their belonging to this tribe you've created. And if you think about the history of techno and house music, you have seen these things happen before. So with Underground Resistance, with Plastic Man, so Richie Hawtin and the things that he brought to the table here. So they all had some visual identity and some haptic goods around what they've created. And people were really proud to wear these things and to show their belonging to this tribe. And I mean, you can see people wearing these types of logos to this day still, yeah. And if you look at the current tribes out there in the electronic music scene, here in Berlin, for example, I see a lot of people running around with Monkey Town records, shopping bags and hoodies and shirts and whatever. And that's a label that was founded by mode selectors. So they definitely created their own tribe within Berlin, and most likely also beyond that. So in this tribes concept, Seth Godin is always talking about challenging the status quo. A leader must challenge the status quo in order to, well, keep the tribe engaged, to attract new people to the tribe, because he or she is doing something that is very courageous and that nobody else would do. I think that these are very big words, so challenging the status quo, that sounds like reinventing the wheel constantly, and I'm not quite sure if that is necessary. So you don't have to be the absolute rebel, misfit and maverick in the electronic music scene to create your tribe and your following and to grow it. But you definitely have to be someone who's easy to identify, someone who's very clear, differentiated from the other artists out there. And you have to think hard about, like, how can you create music that is perceived as something different, as something fresh? How can you create an artist brand that is true to who you are and what you want to express, but also is not a concept that you just got from somebody else and that's already, kind of overused? Okay, so enough theory, enough background now. Let's talk about how you can implement this and make use of the tribe's idea for your own artist career. So as always, I am giving you 3 action steps that you can implement right after the end of the episode and work on it until the next week's episode. So the first action step here is distill the unique or fresh aspects of your music as well as your artist personality and write them down. So maybe you already did this based on some of the episodes that we already had. But if not, then this is a very good moment where you should sit down and actually focus on what are the things that are unique or fresh about you, about your music, and what is attractive to people from the outside. So do you offer a fresh perspective in your genre? Is there something about you as a person that stands out to new people who meet you? Or what has been like general response to your music so far? And check back with your peers from the music industry or other artists and also people that you generally trust and ask them for their honest opinion on this. Action step number 2 is start conceptualizing a new release that goes all in on your unique strengths. So be courageous and bold, try to challenge the status quo of your genre as much as possible and take it to the next level. Also, it's important to think about artwork and photography, so everything should feel like a labor of love and dedication. And the third action step, you might have guessed it, is to release it for free and analyze who it attracts. So make sure that people really perceive the value of your work, even if they don't have to pay for it. So this can be by a personal note, a video statement, or an interview you give in some blogs and magazines. And then find out what type of people are attracted by this. And ask yourself, have you been able to win 10 true fans thanks to it? If that's the case, then you're on a very good path, and please continue. You're really onto something. That's the beginning of you building your tribe. So I really hope you found this episode helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I'd like to hear from you. What are some of the challenges that you have with finding your tribe as an artist? Have you even thought about this in the first place? Is this something that you already heard about, this tribes concept? What are you struggling with? And what do you think about this idea of putting out something for free and then seeing who's attracted by it? So I would love to hear from you. You can reach out via email, philip@copilco-productions.com. You can leave a comment on the blog that goes with this episode. So pickyourselfpodcast.com is the URL, and you will find blog posts to every single episode where you can leave comments. Or you just reach out on social media, that's also fine. Just find me anything with Copilco Music, Copilco Productions, just search for it and you will find me. And if you want to take everything a step further and implement some of the things you've learned in the podcast, you can check out my 7 strategies of highly successful electronic music artists. So that's a free PDF guide. You will not have to pay for it. The 7 strategies of highly successful music artists is basically me condensing all the information that I got from my most successful studio clients and also from my own experience and also from what I've been talking with my peers in the electronic music industry. And that's just 7 points that will probably help you get started a little bit better in this whole craziness that is the music business. And you can get that at pickyourselfpodcast.com/free. Once again, pickyourselfpodcast.com/free. Hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye. If you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. And you can find show notes to this episode in form of a detailed blog post at pickyourselfpodcast.com. Until then, see you next time.